The silk is tightening around your wrists, not rope, silk. Expensive, deliberate, because silk doesn't leave marks. You're kneeling on whetstone in a chamber that smells like lamp oil and fear. The floor gleams not from water, from something else, something you don't want to think about. In front of you, 3 doors. Behind the first, women are weeping. Soft, rhythmic music like prayer. Behind the second, nothing. Just silence so thick it feels like drowning. Behind the third, laughter, the soft clink of wine cups. Voices discussing poetry in Arabic you barely understand. Your name is Catherine. You're 23 years old. 3 months ago you watched your father die holding a contract he thought would save you. It didn't. Now a man in a spotless robe is walking down the line of women beside you, asking questions in music languages you know and languages you don't. His voice is calm, clinical. He's not choosing slaves. He's sorting inventory. One of these doors will determine whether you survive the next decade. One of them will make you wish you hadn't. And the worst one, it's not the one music with the screams. By the time this story ends, you'll know what was behind all 3 doors. You'll understand why 12 years from now, Catherine will stand in front of a sultan and say words that should have gotten her killed. Clears throat, and you'll realize something most people never learn about history. The cruelest systems aren't built by monsters. They're built by people who convinced themselves they were being reasonable. Damascus 1260. The Crusades are ending, but for the women left behind, something worse is music just beginning. 6 hours before the doors, Catherine's father made a calculation that would kill him. He was a merchant, a good one. The kind who music understood that survival in Acre, one of the last Crusader strongholds clinging to the coast, required relationships that crossed battle lines. He had contracts with Mamluk officials, letters sealed with wax and official stamps, promises written in Arabic and Latin music that assured safe passage for his family and his goods. He believed paper could stop steel. He was wrong. When the Mamluk armies breached the gates in the spring of 1260, music those contracts dissolved like ink in water. His carefully negotiated agreements meant exactly nothing to the soldiers pouring through the streets. The letters he clutched as proof of protection became kindling. Catherine's father died in his own courtyard, still holding a document with the Sultan's music seal. Catherine and her mother were pulled apart in the chaos, different hands, different music directions. Catherine screamed her mother's name until her throat bled and her voice gave out. She never saw her again, never learned if her mother survived the first week, the first day, the first hour. 3 months later, Catherine stood in that underground chamber with 17 other women pressed against cold music. Limestone walls. All Christian, all captured during the same campaign that erased Acre from the map. All waiting for a man named Amir Tashimor to decide their fates. Tashimor entered through the center door carrying music, no weapons. He wore the simple robe of a royal steward, but the difference shown to him by the guards revealed his true authority. His title in the Mamluk Music Administration translated roughly to Integration Specialist. Integration. That word appears in the official records with disturbing frequency. It sounds almost humane, clinical, like helping refugees adjust to a new society. Here's what it actually meant. The Mamluks had learned something during music their own enslavement that most conquerors never grasp. Human beings are malleable. Given the right music combination of time, isolation and total environmental control, you can systematically erase one identity and build another in its place. They knew this because it had been done to them. Every music sultan, every emir, every commander who shaped the medieval Middle East had started as a slave. Boys taken from Turk tribes in Central Asia, from Scassian communities in the Caucasus, purchased as children, converted to Islam, trained in warfare and administration with ruthless precision. By their 20s, these former slaves had become elite warriors. By their 30s, they commanded armies. And when the Orbid dynasty collapsed in 1250, it was a Mamluk, a former slave, who seized the Egyptian throne. This created a paradox at the heart of their society. The ruling class consisted entirely of men who'd been systematically transformed through bondage. They didn't view this as tragedy. They viewed it as proven methodology. If boys could be converted into warriors, then captured populations could be converted into whatever the state required. And the state required much. Soldiers, servants, artisans, laborers, administrators, music, and women who could perform functions that free women of equivalent status could not or would not provide. So they built infrastructure to process thousands of people annually. 7 major facilities in Damascus alone, standardized procedures, medical examinations within 24 hours of arrival, classification based on age, origin, physical condition, and assessed capability. Records tracked every individual through the system. Mortality rates were calculated. Productivity was measured. The Mamluks approached human acquisition with the same systematic thinking they applied to military logistics. Tashimor was one administrator in this vast apparatus, but what he did next would determine everything about Catherine's life for the next 12 years. 12 years. Remember that number. Because at the end of those 12 years, Catherine would do something unprecedented. She would stand in front music of Sultan Kalawan during a public audience, a setting where women from the haram quarters, music, never spoke unless specifically summoned. And she would say words that should have gotten her executed on the spot, words that no enslaved woman had ever said in public. Instead, those words set her free. But we're not there yet. Music was still in the underground chamber, watching Tashimor walk past Catherine without looking at her, stopping in front of a younger girl. Maybe 16 Armenian features, terrified eyes. He speaks to her in Arabic. She doesn't understand. Music, he repeats himself in Armenian. Her face drains of color. She shakes her head. He nods to a guard. The girl is led toward music, the left door. Door 1, it opens. Through it, Catherine glimpses sunlight, a courtyard. Dozens of women sitting in rows, heads bowed, while men in official robes examine them with the practiced efficiency, music of livestock merchants evaluating breeding stock. The door closes. Tashimor continues down the line. His selections follow patterns. Age matters. Origin matters. Physical condition matters most of all. But there's something else he evaluates, something less tangible. He asks each woman a question in her native language. The question varies, but the underlying test remains constant. He's measuring their capacity for transformation. The Mamluks understood music, something that modern psychology wouldn't articulate for centuries. Given sufficient time and total control over environment, human identity is far more malleable than most people want to believe. Before we open that first door, do me one favor. If this stow Rye matters to you, if you believe these women deserve to be remembered, hit the like button and music subscribe. It's the only way stories like this reach more people. Now, let's see what was behind door 1. Catherine had not been broken, not yet, but the system knew how to break people without leaving visible damage, how to erase previous identity while building new compliance, how to music maximize economic return while maintaining social control. They developed techniques refined over decades, music of practice. Door 1 opened again and again. Women disappeared through it one by one. Catherine watched, waited, tried to understand the pattern in Tashimor's selections. Then he stopped in front of her. His eyes were neither kind nor cruel, just calculating. He asked his question in Frankish French. His accent, music, was perfect. This detail matters. The Mamluks didn't merely conquer. They studied, they learned the languages of their enemies. They understood Christian social structures well enough to exploit them. Can you read? Catherine hesitated. In that moment of hesitation, music, she made a decision that would determine everything. She could lie, claim ignorance, hope that illiteracy might make her less valuable, might lead to assignment somewhere less terrible than whatever awaited educated captives. But something in Tashimore's eyes suggested he already knew music the answer. Her father had been a merchant. Merchants taught their children to read. Contract. S. Correspondence. Records. Lying would only demonstrate that she lacked judgment. Yes, she said, French and Latin, some Arabic. Tashimore's expression music didn't change, but something shifted in his posture. He gestured to a guard who brought a wooden tablet covered in wax. On it, someone had written a sentence in Arabic script. Read this. Catherine studied the words. The script was formal, classical, a line from religious poetry. She read it music aloud slowly, her pronunciation uncertain but comprehensible. Tashimore took the tablet back, made a mark on the parchment he, music, carried, then moved to the next woman without another word. Catherine didn't know it yet, but she'd just been selected for door 3. Not the left door, which led to the courtyard music and eventual distribution to military households as basic domestic music servants. Not the center door, which led to immediate sale in the Damascus slave market. Door 3 led somewhere else entirely, somewhere that required women who music possessed education, linguistic ability, skills that made them suitable for what the music records called administrative household placement. This sounds almost merciful, like she'd been chosen for